So in the meantime, I can give you some more info. This one goes about
Start? Okay.
things that have been in the past. So not things that are things that are happening right now and have been happening in the past. So that's
Okay.
the case studies we're talking about.
All right. So uh, examples of developing and delivering aquaculture mobility opportunities are through the program that I mentioned this morning, Exploring Diversity Through Aquaculture, which I started collaborating with some colleagues back in the US. And basically we started doing an online module or unit, and then we wanted to go a little bit further with it and actually provide opportunities for students to apply their learning out in the field. So we had the resources or the facilities in the places where I worked, but it only went so far. It didn't really give them like a real experience out in the industry. So that's when I used my contacts back in Scotland and created an opportunity to bring students from the US to Scottish salmon farms, and then they got to see, visit, speak with workers in the field, got to even practice a little bit fish feeding, look at a little bit of the processing, how it, the whole production change basically, and that led to developing the program a bit further, and more recently working with a college in Netherlands and creating opportunities for students there to do work experience with salmon farms again. Now these students, they have great program where they're learning, vocational college, and they have experiences with freshwater fish, mostly carp and sports fisheries, even another aspect of aquaculture. So they get a broader sense of what the industry has to offer them by going to Scotland, seeing salmon farms, and even more recently I had one of the former students go to Alaska, where he got the 6 weeks training experience with salmon conservation there. So and again, he's getting a really broad experience of what aquaculture is all about. It's not just commercial aquaculture production for food, but it's also conservation, sports fisheries, and that really has proven to be a really successful program for these students. They've really appreciated these opportunities. So that's an example that's worked.
Thank you so much. In the meantime, can you write down the name of the program on
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Who's next? You go.
I have experience in 2017 and 18 actually last year. It was my second year working in University of Science Malaysia. I would rather say that this is a bit, I would say, a good and bad experience, because I just started working and I haven't really established the laboratory. I have two experience at the same time. I received a student from local university and also from Thailand, and one from United Kingdom. So they came for like 30 days working in my laboratory. So perhaps I share the bad things first. When the laboratory isn't really been prepared, so the student hasn't really got a full-on experience. So I learned from that to offer the place, at least I need to have something for the student to work with, especially with a lot of restrictions that I just came back. So I need to prepare so that student will have better experience. I have to admit there are limitations in my workplace, but I guess to accommodate with mobility and things like that, I should be more creative in providing them with, laboratory facilities to facilitate, the student to be there and do the work. the positive experience that I've got for all those three, actually 5 students, when I realized that things not working out on the first week, so I start to plan different things from them. So for them, so I'm quite lucky that I have community that working with me. They have ponds. They also run small aquaculture businesses. So I engage the student with those activities so that they realize that mobility is just not working with the university, but also get engaged with the community. So they have first-hand experience, get to know the community that working aquaculture, small scale level. And because I'm emphasized on sustainable aquaculture activity, so they be able to see how poor people produce, good quality of food, and as well as they work with conservation with turtle. So from my experience, readiness and structural well planned should be the first place before accepting or sending out students, so that they have the experience. At least in my case, the student went back with good memories, I would say. They have fun, and I've got good reputation from providing them with options, that this is real things when they working in certain laboratory. So that's what I
Hands-on experience and
Yes.
experience for life. Okay. Next one.
I can go. Does it work? Okay. So it was in 2007 when I was in European Aquaculture Society Student Group Board. So we got a request from Wageningen University master students. They have a group named Aquarius. So these students found a sponsorship to come to Turkey. A group of students found some fish feed factory, I guess, and they bought their flight tickets to come Turkey. Of course, they also use some pocket money from their own budget. But they came Turkey and asked me as a representative of EIS student group to show them around the aquaculture industry and like facilities. So I took them to main aquaculture area in Bodrum in Turkey. So we visited the cages and hatcheries and seafood technology plants, and they enjoy it a lot and they learn a lot. By this way, to find a sponsorship in that age, it's not that easy. So they got a self-confident, they got a problem-solving capacity improving, and also visiting another country. So it's a very good example, I guess, to go somewhere else, not expecting a scholarship from a government, but find like a fundraising by yourself.
So selecting the motivated student.
Yeah, by sponsorship in the Wageningen University, and it was a very good experience, I guess.
The project is called Aquarius?
Yeah.
Dr. Lou, go ahead.
I tell about my experience. This is about 25 years ago when I used to work with AIT. And I work in Research Institute for Aquaculture. We have BSc programs in our institutions. And we often select the best students for this purpose. We send them abroad for practice, diploma practice. And we were able to do quite a lot. Then those after graduation who gets a high mark, we always nominate them. If they stay in Research Institute for Aquaculture, we nominate them for master degree. And those things always get very good result. And the first one, we start conducting BSc program in 1994, and today, every year we get only 25 students. But today, we have already saying nearly 20 batches. But the first 7 batches, most of them they get master degree and doctor degree. So you imagine that somewhere about 150 graduated. They already got a master and doctor degree from our batch. So when I work there, I only think first I see what's the need for our institute, priority area. Then who's the best one? So we nominate, but that time I have many friends. For example, Patrick, friend with me. Peter Edward was saying friend of me in Sterling University. Also, we have good relation. With Trondheim University, we have very good relations. So I can negotiate. I can talk with them that we want to nominate those people for master for doctor degree, and almost I got on this. So
your institute selects its best students to go abroad and study a master or a PhD.
Yeah.
That's the. And how is the program's name?
This thing last time we call AIT, aquaculture, AIT, Asian
But maybe put it on the yellow paper
Asian
there.
Institute of Technology.
in Bangkok.
So it's going from the other one?
AIT, Asian Institute of Technology.
So from Thailand to Vietnam now.
International.
Everywhere.
Asian Institute of Technology.
Asia, but further on also. Europe, everywhere.
AIT. Asian is still working. Go now. But our time. Based on our priority, how the perform. So we negotiate with our partners. We select now when we select Trondheim University, Bergen University, we nominate them to Osh also University. Then in UK, Stirling University, AIT, of course, is sound. Then we even Australia we select on some universities, no. So again, university also was selection of our. So we talk with, we negotiate with, and we got thing.
And you make the selection based on grades or on.
Grade in our need, as actually. Yeah, institute need. For example, we say okay, we give priority for genetic selection, for seed production, for live fish production, for example, marine aquaculture. That's it. We make selection.
And the funding is national.
Funding this very diverse. Some from our project, even some research project, we can allocate funding also. Bilateral collaboration, also they fund for example, Norwegian, they get bilateral collaboration, and we use this funding for education.
So regardless of where you're going, no, regardless of the funding, this is the system that you're using.
Yeah.
Okay, oh well. Anybody else? Joe? Yeah.
I have a negative experience for change, because you can sometimes learn more from negative than from positive experiences. I will keep it general, not too specific, but it's based on a specific experience. So when we want to send out students to have hands-on experience, you send them to a company, a farm, and often a farm, we contact farms that we have good relations with, that we trust, etc. So we are confident that when they get there, they will do proper work. The problem is when the student is not working necessarily with your contact person. The contact person is, let's say, the responsible one, but the student will work in the field with the technician, the lab person, the farmer, etc. And then language is really often a major issue. They have to do experiments, whatever they need, they cannot communicate with the people that actually have the answers. Where is the pipette point? Where can I find a beaker? Where's the toilet? I mean, very stupid things which makes the experience, well, that can really make an experience into a failure. So I don't have an answer to that, unfortunately, but it is something that you have to keep in mind. The quality of your contact person is not necessarily sufficient for the quality of the internship.
Okay, nice. Yes.
I can maybe explain one good and one bad, maybe. One thing that I think is good in our masters in Barcelona is that it is shared by 3 universities, because all 3 are in the area of Barcelona. So University of Barcelona, my autonomous, and then there is a polytechnics. So the good thing is that they experience 3 places with 3 different, well, not different systems, but different people, different environment. And then there's a kind of a specialization. The first one, they do nutrition, reproduction, etc. And at home they do health in general, pathology, stress, etc. And then in the third one, a bit of economy and engineering. So then the students are based in the area of Barcelona, but they move all together and then they spend 2 months in each site. And I think this is good in terms of experiencing. And then they can do the master's thesis both in any of these universities or in internships in companies. So sometimes the experience in as you said, a little bit in that area or in that direction is that sometimes if they have to do a master's thesis in a company, it's critical whether they will be monitored and so on, because sometimes they have only 3 months, 4 months, because our master's is just 1 year. So it means that they have to start quickly to get results. If they start later on, there is the danger of not having enough data to build a work. So in these cases, maybe it can be another type of work, but not maybe a complete one. So it's critical to select a place where they can, when they arrive, they can already start to work, start to get results, etc.
We have an internship program called ABT Internship Program, and we started this 10 years ago. At the beginning, we just called the students to come and they worked with us and everyone was happy, but we realized that this program needs some structures and procedures, as Jean said. And now we have a whole procedure for the whole program. What happens when the student arrives on the first day? They have a general training about the company. They have to read all the SOPs, the standard operational procedures of the company. And just after this, they are allowed to visit the laboratories, and then they have the specific training on the work area where they will work. And also during the internship, they have the possibility to report to the higher management of the company, how happy are they with the work, what they are doing, how much they can learn. And the end of the internship, we also have an interview with them, the HR office of the company, to see what were their problems, how happy are they with the program. So I think these procedures can improve a lot of an internship.
I have participated good number of mobility programs in my career, but one of them was the Global Challenges University Alliance program that is called GCUA. It was held in 2015 at the Swedish Agricultural University, Uppsala. The important thing is that we all were the PhD student at different European universities, but from different part of the world. I could remember we were 14 PhD students from 9 different countries. The special attributes of such program was that this program brought the prominent researchers and professors from the Europe, like Patrick Sorgols, David Little, and many others presenters coming over there, and they gave the up-to-date information on our different part of aquatic food production system, its sustainability, and so on. And at the same time, we are the students, we presented the current context and prospect of our aquaculture food production system from the different part of the world. So this help us to interact, to know about the whole global system from a single platform. And I could remember with the 14 become friends, and we built a very strong network in the Facebook, social media. We are still connected with each other, and on that connection I found that in African countries some of my friends working with some fish powder. And I got this idea when I started working back in home. I found, yes, there is strong disparity in terms of distribution of fish among the family members. Household head got the fish head, and the lion share of the fish is the social norms in the subcontinent or the Asian countries. And the token of respect, this household head or male will get the higher proportion compared to other member. But I found, okay, fish powder might be a good solution to minimize the intra-household food allocation. If you blend it with the other local recipe or ingredients, it could be one option to minimize the disparity. So this is the way it works. Still we are connected with each other, and that was all the motivated PhD students. And last year, should I add another one?
Well, we have to wrap up, so
Okay.
maybe we can give the floor. I don't know, you have any specific examples or?
Like in UMT, in order to enable the exchange of students to take place, so normally we will sign the MOU with the other universities, and sometimes, also many years ago, we provide a short-term scholarship for the students to conduct their internships abroad. Like last time we used to provide short-term financial support for the students to go to Kagoshima universities, because you know in Japan the expenses are very expensive, it's very high, so that's why we provide a minimum financial assistance for the students. And at that time, a lot of students apply, and then we can choose the best students in terms of the readiness, the language ability. We can shortlist those students. But now we already terminate the scholarships, but we still open applications for the students to apply internships.
So that's an own funding then?
Yeah, without fundings nowadays.
Nowadays without funding.
And then so no students want to apply anymore.
They don't apply anymore?
They don't apply because no financials.
Ah.
Kagoshima is a nice place for a
Because, yeah.
The research system there. I worked there for 2 months in the research system.
I forgot the name of the European guy who was against importing the
Very well, thank you so much. Any closing remarks? Everybody got to say what he wanted to say? Very well, thank you for your input. I'll move to the third group then.
What